In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about how we access computers on the internet or web pages and the like at a kind of a big picture level. So we're talking about routers and the internet itself, and things like that. In other videos, we'll talk about what that means, drill down into the client, and what it's doing when you're actually doing it from around your computer. And then other videos will drill down into what it looks like from the server side and some more specifics there. So let's say I'm loading up this browser here, and I want to go to website LL.Bean. So LL.Bean is a store in Maine, which is where my father's from. It's pretty expensive clothing and outdoorsy type of materials. But they are located in Maine. So if I wanted to go to this website, which was actually pretty fast, I'm actually hitting a machine that is in Maine. So let's look at kind of what that might look like. So I have my computer over here, right? So this is my computer, and I'm at University of Cincinnati, right? And I'm actually accessing, when I hit that LL.Bean website, a server. So I'll draw a picture of the server. So this is kind of a tower server here. So this is LL.Bean, their server. And so we have a server here at LL.Bean. I have a computer here, what we call a client. So the client is what's accessing it. The server is what we're accessing. So the server is basically it's a computer with a specialized operating system that it sets it up to allow for things like, in this case, web server, to actually access a web page. Okay, so again, my client here is on the UC network, right? So we'll drill down into what that means in a little bit. My LL.Bean server here is on the LL.Bean's network, right? And they're actually accessing the same internet, because the internet basically is a series of wires that spans the globe. Okay, so UC network over here, LL.Bean's network's over here. They have on the edge of their network something called a router. Okay, so each of them will have a router. And a router just looks like a box, but this is just a symbol for a router, a circle with an X in it. And so that router is connected to another router at their respective ISPs, Internet Service Providers. And so just like you and I on our home networks connect to an internet service provider, for instance, I use Cincinnati Bell, you might use Time Warner or some other internet service provider. Companies and corporate networks have internet service providers as well. So for UC, we're connected to an internet service provider that provides network connection to other universities and schools in the state of Ohio called ORNet. I'm not sure what LL.Bean uses for their ISP, but of course, you know, there's the major internet service providers out there. And so off of those ISPs, again, are connected to other routers for other corporate networks. So off of ORNet, we may have a connection to a router at Ohio University, which is my alma mater, to another router at Ohio State University, etc., all connecting to the ORNet internet service provider's main router there. And there are several other routers inside, but we'll drill into that later. So the idea is that these internet service providers now all have their routers connected all together, all around the world. And they're connected together in such a way that we have redundancy. Redundancy meaning more of one connection, right? And in networking and computing, we like to have redundancy for a couple of reasons. One, for fault tolerance. So if we only had one connection, let's say this was our only connection to LL.Bean, right? So what would happen if this line were to go down here? Well, if we didn't have redundancy in these connections between the routers, I couldn't access the LL Bean website from this computer here at UC. And so we have this redundancy in the system so that if it does go down, we can go through multiple different paths of routers to get to the LL Bean website. And so this is what we see. The internet is simply a series of routers across the internet, a series of internet service provider routers that are interconnected together. And so very, very quickly, you can see within fractions of a second, from my client, I can access through this kind of web of routers to the LL Bean website. So this is kind of the big picture of how we get from one system or one computer on the internet to another computer. And so that's the end of this video. We'll talk in a moment. We'll drill down into the actual network within UC. We'll have another video where we'll drill down into a home-based client network, and then still another video where we'll drill down into the servers network here at LL Bean.